Hi, Candy Flames here today, and today we are talking candle care tips and tricks. So welcome back if you've been here before, and if you're new, welcome to my little channel. Please like and subscribe as it helps my little channel to grow. Okay, so these are just a few tips and tricks that some people know, some people don't, and they just basically help me with my candle care, and so I wanted to share them with you today. So let's start. You get your brand new candle and you bring it home. Now before lighting it, you need to trim your wick. Now, Yankee advised you to trim it about 3mm, but I think between 3 and 6 is fine. I personally do mine around 4 to 5. By trimming the wick, it does a few things. It helps to stop your jars looking black and sooty. The flame is more controlled and steady. Trimming the wick also helps your candle to last for longer. And longer wicks, the flame starts to dance about, and that is what creates that black sootiness around your jar, and then you get an uneven burning of the wax as well. I trim my candles before I light them every single time. Not trimming the wicks will also cause broken off wick parts. When the wick gets too long, the carbon collects on the top of the wick. This is called mushrooming. So you can see here where the carbon's collecting on top of the wick, and we've got a little bit, this is just a little mini mushroom part growing here, but this will just break off. There you go. Now if you leave it, that will break off while burning your candle, and you will get this. Now this candle is disgusting. It's one of my first candles that I got, and this is a long while ago before I knew about trimming your wicks. And look, I wonder if the camera's picking it up, but you can see around the wick is just a blackness. That is all wick. So when I light it up and you get your nice little, pool going of crystal clear, beautiful wax, mine has just got loads of black bits of wick in it. It's horrible, and it's where it's all broken off, and it's not very good. So trimming your wicks, basically, you get a nice even burn. Your candles will last you longer because they'll burn more slowly. The flame is controlled, and you don't get that black horrible sootiness around your jars. So you should do this basically every time before you light it up. So if you find that you've got your candle going like this, and all of a sudden it starts to smoke a bit, or the flame's really dancing about, sometimes you need to trim the wick. So basically what I would do, extinguish it, wait for the candle to come down to room temperature, trim it, and you can relight it and you're good to go again. Now you shouldn't have your candles burning for longer than 4 hours. Yankee always say this as well, 4 hours. I personally let mine go to 4 or 5. I admit I sometimes do 6, but we really shouldn't. It's all to do with, the heat. Obviously, the glass is, made for the heat, but Yankee advises not to sort of do it longer than 4. So I do try and stick to them rules. But basically that's all about trimming the wick. Okay, so now this part, the first burn. Your first burn of the candle is really, really important. Basically, when you're when you light your candle for the first time, you need to make sure you have plenty of time. You need at least 3 hours, if not 4, if your candle is Yankee sized. Okay, obviously if it's a smaller one, it's not going to take as long. Let me get that wick out of there because that's really going to annoy me. Obviously if it's this size, it's not going to take as long. Smaller candles aren't, but if your candle is generally the size of a Yankee candle, you're looking at 3 to 4 hours. Okay, so if you have not got 3 to 4 hours, please don't light your candle. So many people buy a candle and they can't wait to see what it smells like. They get it home and they're like, oh, I wonder what it smells like. And they light it up and they think, oh, I'm going to see what it smells like. And they give it half an hour and oh, it smells really nice. Oh, I'm going to light this tonight. And they blow it out. If you don't have the time, don't light it. You should light it and let the wax pool out to the edges. I let it go also, as you can see here now. I'm just going to turn this slightly. My wax pool at the moment is here. I've gone about 1 centimetre deep with this wax pool. I'm just going to give it a slight wobble so you can see. Some candles it's clearer due to the colour wax, but my wax pool is at the moment down to here. That is all liquid wax, okay? Now what happens there is when I extinguish this, that is an all nice level, one level. If you just light your candle for half hour, an hour or whatever, and you don't let it pull out to the edges, okay, you're going to start tunneling. Wax is like a memory ring. People don't think this, but it's got a memory kind of thing. And what happens is you light that candle for an hour, blow it out. Next time you light it, it's never going to go out. It's never going to pull out. It's just going to keep remembering that, and it's going to start to tunnel. I have some, you can see here, if you can just see this ridge in here, that's where it's been blown out. I've done this purposely to show you. Okay, and you can start to see now, next time you light that, you'll have trouble getting past this ring. And it probably won't go past it, and especially on the first burn, it would not. And then it gets progressively worse. You can see here now. Okay, it's starting to tunnel up the edges, you can see. Okay, and I'll show you on a different example because I haven't got one that's really badly tunneled, but you can see on a normal candle here, look at this. This is tunneling. And you've just got a load of waste wax around the side. Okay, so you can try and correct it once it gets to sort of this stage and a bit worse. There is a way of correcting it, which is the tin foil method. So if I just take that off of there, ouch, that was hot. Okay, so if I had wax up the sides here now, it was starting to tunnel or had already, you know, tunneled quite a bit, you can put tin foil on it. I keep this tin foil, as you can see, so I keep it in that shape so I can just slide it on any candle that starts to tunnel if I had problems with it. But basically, bit of noise here now. You just get a sheet of tin foil, which I've doubled over, okay? And you get your candle, place your tin foil on top, scrunch it all down like this. Then you can get a pen, and just create a bit of a hole there, and that's it. And then you can keep that. Once you scrunched it around the candle a bit more, as you can see the one in the background, you just keep it, and then I just, you know, take that out and place it on a candle if it's not pulling out to the edge. But really important, let it pull right out. Take this off now because you are incubating it. So by the way, when you're doing the tin foil method, check it every 10 minutes depending on how bad your tunnel was. I mean, if you've got something like this one, it's probably only going to take about 10 minutes, maybe 15 with the tin foil on there to get it all melted and back to a nice wax pull. Obviously, if it was worse, something like this, it's going to take a little longer. So the only problem you would have is if it has tunneled quite a bit and you can't fix it with the tin foil method. Sometimes you are lucky, you can put the tin foil on there, start to get a bit of a, wax pull going. And I have got long tweezers, and I've put in cotton wool balls to soak up so that you're not drowning out the wick, to soak up some of the wax. And I have managed to solve some candles like that. But basically, I have never had a candle that has tunneled really bad. I have seen them, and all you're doing is wasting wax. At the end of that candle, you're going to have a whole load of wax that is just wasted. But if it does get that far, there is other things you can do. You can chop up the wax, pop it in one of these so that you're not wasting, I mean, let's not waste a single bit of wax. Put it in one of these, you know, and melt it, get the fragrance going around the room. Therefore, you haven't wasted anything. So, you know, please, like when you get these candles and you're going to light them for that first ever time where that memory ring is going to form, and it's always going to burn there if you just blow it out after an hour, you need to get your wax pull going. Like I say, you can see here, and that is about 1 centimetre deep. Okay, so I've said about the too much wax being in there. Basically, Illumilids. Let's go on to Illumilids. You can see I've got one on here now. These are by Yankee Candle, and they are made to fit the Yankee candle jars. What these do is they help to keep the flame out of drafts. They also help the flame to burn more steadier for a cleaner burn without the black soot. So it keeps that flame from dancing about. And as you can see, you can get, you know, all different pretty ones. They all look nice, all different. Christmas one here. I love them. And then you can collect different ones for different occasions. Okay, so keep the candle on a plate. or something to protect your surfaces from heat. Once, you know, the wax is around 1 centimetre from the bottom, it's done, you know, when it gets down here. But as your wax gets lower, you do want to protect your surfaces. But when it does get to around 1 centimetre, it is done. And I will show you in a future video how to get that wax out, because like I said, we don't want to waste a single bit of wax. Keep candles away from drafts. That is just purely for the burning again, to make that flame. The steadier that flame, the smaller and steadier that flame, the longer your candle's going to last, and the, you know, more even it is going to burn. You can clean the jars if you do get that black soot around them. Wait obviously till they've completely cooled down, and then you can just get a damp, you know, piece of kitchen roll and go around in there and clean out all that blackness if you do happen to get any. Like I say, with the Illumilids, and because I trim my wicks, I don't have a problem with the blackness around the jars. So okay, now it comes to extinguishing your candle. Now there's lots of different ways. People just like to blow them out. I personally don't, because you get all that smoke go into the room. You've just had your candle lit for 4 or 5 hours. Your room smells absolutely gorgeous, and you go and blow it out, and now you've got that smell of burning, you know. It's just horrible, and it creates soot. So I personally don't do that. Also, by blowing it out, you could be splattering the wax that's melted up the jar. So then you have like snuffers, which some people like to use, and you just simply go down on the flame, wait for it to be extinguished, take it off. You still do get smoke coming from that, and it still creates that horrible burnt smell. I personally like to use a wick dipper, funny name, but yes, a wick dipper. I've got black finger here from where I've been touching them. And basically this is one my husband made me, but this is roughly what they look like. And what happens is, take your candle and basically you just pop that wick down, pop it back up and centerize it. No smoke. So now your room still smells nice and beautiful. No horrible burnt smell. That's my dog outside, excuse her. No smoke going anywhere. And I just love this method. And when I do it, as I've just popped it up now, I make sure that that wick is nice and centerized and standing up nice and straight, ready for me to trim it next time. I don't trim my wicks ever when they're hot still like this. I wait for them to come down to room temperature, or when they're cold. Usually I, like I say, trim them before I light them. So like I say, by using a wick dipper, you don't have that smoky, sooty smell ruining the lovely fragrance you've just, you know, had filling your room. So that's it really. If there's anything else that you think I've missed, put in the comments. If there's anything you want me to show you, put in the comments. Perhaps I didn't show you this. This is the wick trimmer. This is the Yankee candle one here. And basically, you can see you can get down right deep into the jar, so when it's lower down. But if I'm honest, it is great. I love it. But you can just use your old nail clippers. They do a good job. You just have to make sure you try and catch that wick when you're using them, but they, do a good job. I light my candles with just your plain old lighter, long one, so I can get down into the jars. Like I say, I'm a big fan of the Illumilids. I don't like wasting any wax, and sometimes I sit there, like I say, you really got to have the time to light them and get that wax pool going. If you're thinking to yourself, okay, supposing I did have the time to light the candle, I've got 3 or 4 hours, I light it up and something happens after an hour and you've got to go out, it's just one of them things. But like I say, the tin foil method is your only way out of trying to stop that tunnelling and helping the sides to go down and stopping that memory ring from forming. And they're so much nicer when they burn all evenly. I mean, this one, although I've got that horrible dirty bits of wick around the middle, which I hate, you can see that it is a nice clean burn. This candle, there's no tunnelling. This is how a candle should burn down. So, oh God, that's so horrible in there. Look, hate it. But that's just some tips and tricks. Next week I'm going to be talking about some home inspirations, because obviously I collect the Yankee candles, but we all know they have a side brand, the Home Inspirations. So I'm going to be talking about them, what's the difference, how I find them, because I do have a few of them, So I'm going to be covering that next week, and then hopefully the week after I can get back up the beach where I have another candle that I'm going to review up there. So I have all that coming up. Also the centrepiece that I still haven't got around to doing, but I will. Thank you all for taking the time for watching, and I hope this has come across all right, and I hope, you know, perhaps I help somebody out there. That's what I'm trying to do. Hope you all have a really, really lovely week. Okay,